Since its release, Pixelgun 3D has been a game played by millions. How did this game, which we all played in our childhood, end up struggling to reach even 1000 concurrent players today? How did this game downloaded tens of millions of times turn into something so hated in the present day? And most importantly, what went wrong? To understand this, we need to rewind the film to the very beginning. That year was the rising era of Counter-Strike, and a developer named Alex Krasnov emerged. This man saw the rise of Counter-Strike and tried to merge it with another popular game, Minecraft. Yes, that's right. In those years, Minecraft was experiencing its golden age with the rise of channels like Captain Sparklez and Skydo's Minecraft. Alex saw this gap and added Minecraft-style graphics, guns, and a storyline to this game. Thus, on May 2nd, 2013, the first non-pay-to-win version of the game was released. If you ask if it was successful, no. The game couldn't even meet 1000 users in its first months. But this deficiency was about to change with a single update coming to the game. Most people think multiplayer arrived with 2.0 or 3.0, but the truth dates back to the 1.0 update in 2013. However, back then, the system was so broken that most players couldn't even connect to the servers. The real chaos we know today became stable with 2.0. But despite the technical mess, Update 1.2 changed the DNA of Pixelgun forever. It was no longer just a lonely zombie survival game, it was the birth of a global arena. For the first time, you weren't just hunting mindless bots, you were facing real people in a row. There were no teams, no gadgets, and no mercy, just you. Your primitive pixelated shotgun and a dream to top the leaderboard. Even though the lag was unbearable and the servers were hanging by a thread, that multiplayer button was the spark that ignited the flame. This was the exact moment Pixelgun 3D stopped being a clone and finally found its true identity. And after this update, the game exploded. The player base suddenly jumped from thousands to tens of thousands. At the same time, maps that would be considered classics in the future were added to the game. As the player count rose, developer added more mods, making the game more playable. Update 0.89 added the capture flag mode, known from other games. Update 0.92 added a mode called Deadly Games, which was a Hunger Game clone. Update 4.0 added survival mode and co-op mode. All these additions led to a massive surge in the community, but Update 6.0 was the true turning point where the game officially exploded. This was the update that shattered the glass of ceiling, pushing the player base from thousands into the millions. The headline feature was the introduction of clans. This wasn't just another menu option. It changed the very nature of the game, turned individual players into dedicated soldiers fighting for a common goal. This social revolution made the community more dedicated than ever, turning Pixelgun into a lifestyle for many. At this point, the game had surpassed over 15 million downloads, becoming a titan of mobile gaming. With a massive core player base, legendary content creators dominating YouTube, and an established developer team, Pixelgun 3D was no longer just a game, it was an empire. Everything was going great, the game was growing, updates were coming, and both developers and players were happy. But after this point, things start to get interesting. The updates brought by the developer company began to turn into standardization and more pay-to-win mechanics. Was the game growing? Yes, but this was a harbinger of a near collapse. Update 11.0 Duels Mode. The developer actually added a revolutionary feature with this mode, showing they learned from their mistakes. But they didn't account for one very big thing. Duels Mode puts you on a map with a single opponent under completely equal conditions, meaning there's no getting shot from behind, no camping, or no luck factor like in FFA mode. Everything is 100% skill based. Actually, this is good, isn't it? No, it's actually terrible. Because while the system should have matched you with someone of your own level, it was leaving a newcomer alone against a monster with thousands of hours of experience. Consequently, the professionals crushed their opponents in this arena and developed themselves excessively. New players, on the other hand, hit a wall in every match before they even understood what was happening. Update 11.0 with the broken matchmaking system it offered widened the gap between professionals and beginners so much that it became impossible to enter the game as a newcomer. When the developers noticed this gap, instead of fixing the situation, they chose to pour gasoline on the fire. Normally, what keeps an online game alive is regular updates, right? But the Pixel Gun team completely misunderstood the concept of an update. Instead of fixing the matchmaking system and ensuring fairness, this brilliant idea came to their minds. If we sell stronger weapons to new players, they might have a chance against the professionals. It might sound logical, but this was actually the beginning of the end. At one point, they exaggerated it so much that I'm saying every week a new strongest weapon started being added to the game. This move filled the developers' coffers with money. True, but at the same time, it destroyed the entire balance of the game. Now it wasn't about skill or strategy. The game turned into a massive arms race about who bought the most expensive weapon released that week. In other words, every new update they brought to solve the problem actually became a new nail in the game's coffin.